It's January, so you know what that means. The Silver Screen Dudes love to honor their fans because we take off the J and we swap it for an F. It's January time, guys. Happy 2024.
Yeah, happy 2024 indeed. This one's for Frank Torres, who's given us a horrible task, and I kind of wonder just why we do this when people give us such difficult jobs.
Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ Anthony Jordan, saying that for the first time on a Movie Mount Rushmore this year.
Season 7, baby. We're back once again like a renegade master. It's 2024. I'm Nico Leroux. So happy to keep doing this with you, AJ.
Yeah, bro, it's the only way it had to be done. It's the only way it had to be done. Okay, guys, so we said it already. We're not going to waste too much time, but it's January. If you are joining us for the first time, what we like to do as the Silver Screen Dudes, even from when we were Silver Screen Dudes now, the Silver Screen Dudes, we like to take a time to honor those who honor us. You know, you guys have stuck with us throughout the time, and we just put it out there. What topic would you like us to do as a top 10? And, you know, for the past few years, you guys have represented and come up with some really good topics. Tough topics, Frank, but good topics nonetheless. So that's the one. This is, well, we're going to do it as this topic is. We'll hit that in a second. So before we find out what the topic is, Nico, would you like to tell everyone what the movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Yeah, it's in season 7. Basically, it is a top 10 show between two best friends going way back to school. And we old guys now, so we've been friends a long time. This is how the show works. We get assigned a topic this week by Frank Torres. We go our separate ways, compile our individual lists, and then come right back here and record our individual top 10s for you both. This week, AJ will go first, delivering his bottom 3. I will then deliver my bottom 3. AJ will deliver his next 2. I will deliver my next 2. And then when we get to our top 5, we will trade one apiece. If at any time while we are rounding off our movies, one person has a movie in a high position, that person will say,
punt.
And we will punt and talk about that movie once we get to the high position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 movies, we will create, in the voice of the dearly departed Matthew Perry, in the voice of Chandler Bing, the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential, diverse, must-see movies of the genre, which this week is
Top 10 movies of 1999. Now, small caveat, guys. On my end, they are the films released in the UK in 1999. There were a lot of films that have come out, but sadly they hit us in 2000 or maybe, never before really. So yeah, some of them were in 2000. So that you might be like, well, what about? And sadly, I couldn't make my list because I kept it UK. Just kind of like when we do our expectation films of the year, you know, we're like, oh, I can't do that. It comes out later for us, or it came out early for us.
Yeah,
and that's the way it goes.
I've gone down a different route. I have gone down the domestic, what they call domestic box office, which is always the US release route. So that's true. I've gone down. We do have, to bring it back to some polls from the last episode of last season, AJ. Cool. We have 2. We have 2.
Oh, we have 2 polls. Okay, guys. So this is what I wanted to make sure. But before, well, it was on the caveat moment. I should have kept it for starting, but it doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter. There you go, Frank. That's another one for you. You know what I'm talking about. I've seen Raw. Okay. Now, here we go. We, the Silver Screen Dudes, have the challenge of creating the top 10 must-see movies and breaking it down into 4, the movie Mount Rushmore. But it gets laser focused for you guys. You have to try on El Capitan. Oh, that works this week. El Capitan, El Numero Uno, the best of the best of the best, sir, with honors. And to quote Highlander, in the end, there can be only one. And how do you crown that one? You head on over to X and you head on over to @Movie MT Rushmore, the official X page of the Silver Screen Dudes. But more importantly, the person we retweet, good old JT @Movie Polls for You. Yes, that's the one you have to do because that's who we retweet. So you only get to vote once, and that's where you get to crown the winner. For our topic number 1, which was
the top 10 movies of 2023.
Okay, and our contenders were
Dumb Money, Air, The Whale, and Saltburn.
This is a tough one. Depending on the timing, Saltburn could
very hard one to try and guess from your point. This
Saltburn also made it to Amazon in good time. Okay, I'm going to go for Air at number 4.
Nope.
All right, just because of the late release, Saltburn?
Nope.
Dumb Money.
Yeah. And Dumb Money got hurt, bro. 7%. It's not fair. I put that solely down to people not having seen it.
Right, so we've got Saltburn, we've got Air, and what was the other contender?
The Whale. This is quite close between these three. Not one of the closest we've had, but quite close.
Do you know the weird thing about it? No matter which way, Amazon wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Air at number 3.
Nope.
Saltburn.
Yes, Saltburn at 3 with 24%, which made me happy that it got that many votes, I have to say.
Nice. It has to be. I don't want to keep crapping on Air, but I know The Whale is number 1. So yeah, Air at number 2. No way!
Yeah.
Big up MJ. My surname for the win. Sorry.
The Whale came in at number 2 with 31%. Air took it with 38%. People love this movie.
Rightfully so. I remember coming out really, really happy with that film. I was like, there's a bit of magic in that film. Nice. So that was a film
And
of
our
2023.
second poll was the best blockbuster movies of 2023.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes, I forgot we done that. And our contenders were, again,
Oppenheimer, Barbie, Super Mario, and Across the Spider-Verse. No, right?
Ooh. Okay. I think people were realistic on this, even though it was the box office smash and on Silver Screen News week in, week out, and week in, week out again. Barbie took the 4th place.
Nope.
Damn. Across the Spider-Verse.
Nope.
Mario.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, what the hell? Oh, by the way,
wow.
Mario got Donkey Kong butt slammed. 9%.
Wow. And the funny thing is, Mario made dumb money, guys. So I don't know how these two. But yeah, okay.
1 billion Mario.
Oh, I'm gonna try it one more time, and then I'm not gonna crap on it. Barbie at number 3.
Yes, Barbie came in at 3 with 13%.
Across the Spider-Verse is 2.
Across the Spider-Verse at 2 with 23%. Oppenheimer steamrolled people, mate. 55%.
Ooh. Best director of the 21st century.
Literally that.
There we go.
That's it. AJ,
okay.
Your list.
Right, here we go. Okay, guys, this is from a UK standpoint. So there were a few films that Nico may say and be like, oh, I wanted to, but I couldn't. Okay, I know there's one of them that really hurt me. Anyway, it was like number 2. Anyway, here we go. In at number 10 for me, The Sixth Sense.
All you, brother.
Now, I had a thing. I mean, obviously, you've got a wider scope to play with as well. But what hits me with The Sixth Sense? Did I enjoy The Sixth Sense? Yes. However, The Sixth Sense was ruined for me way before seeing the film. And that's what hurts. I think it was a very good narrative and it became a pop culture line, you know. I can say it now. In trying to avoid spoilers, I See Dead People is so in pop culture legacy that you may not know it's from this film, but I'm telling you now, it's that. And when that spoiler was revealed, you've got this troubled child who is seeing a psychiatrist, played by Haley Joel Osment, and he's seeing a psychiatrist played by Bruce Willis, who I hate to see now. Like I'm happy to still see him on Earth, but so sad to see where Bruce is at right now, man. It really, it's heartwarming to see him still smiling and stuff, but to be like one of our greats. It was just spoiled for me. Like, I'm following the narrative, but one thing I hate about spoilers, especially to that degree, when everyone's like, oh, you're gonna love it because of this, is all I can do is sit watching the film waiting for it to happen. And that's exactly what happened with this. how and what. I mean, you can fill in the dots, but I won't go into that level of spoiler territory if you can't figure it out. But that's what killed it for me. But I'm not always one to wave the M. Night Shyamalan flag, even though I do like the Split trilogy or Unbreakable trilogy. This is one that I will give him his respect for. I do feel like it was a good film, just spoiled for me, so it can never rank high.
Yeah, but that's it. You know, I was so late to the party on this that the whole thing that the movie's centered around, which is the epic twist. I believe if I'd gone in there not knowing what that twist was, it would have made me go, what?
Yeah.
But I never got to experience that. So the movie has never registered for me as a result. What's your number 9?
In at number 9 is a comedy that I don't always get to show enough love to. But when I saw it, I was like, hey, cool. And it's a guy I don't normally give a lot of props to either. This is Martin Lawrence, Blue Streak.
But yeah, okay. And it will. I'll say this in the coming weeks. I love this film.
Like, I've had a lot of fun with Blue Streak, and Martin Lawrence, with the highest level of respect. I know there are people who love him and they've done the whole Big Mama's House is not for me. None of them. Not one to whatever number we're up to now. Martin, the TV show, wasn't a fan of it either. However, I appreciate him, but he's always the backup dancer. Whether it be Bad Boys, whether it be Life, whether it be anything else, it's when he's the second. He's never the lead to me. This one, he's the main. Luke Wilson's in it, which is weird. You don't see much of Luke. You see Owen pop up, but where's Luke gone? Really?
Luke's one of Wes Anderson's muses. If you watch,
in that fairness, that's where you find him. He's in the more art housey way. So in the major like blockbuster film realm, you don't see him much. But they had some interesting chemistry. You've got Martin Lawrence as this crook who's stolen the diamond and hides it in a place that's under construction, and he gets caught by the police, but obviously they don't find the diamond, and he does his time and he goes back to get said diamond from the construction site. Guess what? It's a police station. The absolute worst place for a diamond to be held and to be stolen from. And chaos ensues. So now he has to go in there, and now he's pretending to be a cop, and he has to befriend people, but he's still a crook at heart. And then does he slightly get swayed? Of course he does. There's enough. You can see where the picture goes, but you can't picture the comedy that comes from it. As I said, wasn't ever really excited by Blue Streak because I never get excited by Martin Lawrence to that degree. I was pleasantly surprised with this film. I had a good laugh.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. I won't hear otherwise. It's a real hidden gem of a movie. It's fantastic. And you mentioned when he finds out that it's a police station, it's it's that little dance. Oh no. Yeah, but look, the whole movie's full of laughs, man. It's really, really good. And the fact that he can think like a criminal, which actually inadvertently makes him a better cop. That whole thing with Dave Chappelle in the alley is really good. Like, there's a lot of laughs to be had here. Do that thing where you pull the guts out the ass, like it's good comedy. What's your number 8?
In at number 8, we continue in the world of comedy. Perfect film, terrible sequel. We're talking Billy Crystal, Robert De Niro. Analyze this.
Also my number 8.
Hey. This was before Meet the Parents, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, we all know Robert De Niro as the bad guy, the gangster. You know, we've seen him do it 100 times over. You know, he's the taxi driver. You don't mess with Robert De Niro. That's always been the shtick. And now he's in that role, but in comedy. And you're like, what's going on? And again, it was just pure gold what comes out of this. You've got Robert De Niro, who can't be as gangster as he wants to be, and now has to go and see a shrink. But while seeing a shrink, isn't prepared to be a shrink because it's against his machismo, if you would. So he's there, but he's reluctant to do it. But he's trying to find the answers, and that with Billy Crystal, who's just a shrink, who's not really ready to be entered into the criminal underworld, but can't deny his client is there and fears to decline his client at the same time. You know, from that to, and some of the lines that come out of that is absolutely amazing. I'm not even going to say lines because I don't. For anyone who's not seen it, it would be a disservice to put some lines in there. But there are parts where you find it, actually it's in the trailer. You hear stuff where the man has a wife and a mistress, and he's like,
it's one of my favorite.
She kisses my kids goodnight with those lips. Are you crazy?
Which makes sense.
There we are. But there is so much from that, and they both learn from each other. There is a part that I will not spoil, but Billy Crystal near the end of the film, love it. it's yeah.
When he becomes the doctor.
Yeah, exactly.
Elmo the Fud, Slappy the Seal. It's so good. But dude, and that's the thing. I think about that movie. There are so many scenes in it that just bring a smile to my face. The explanation of why he has a mistress and a wife. That scene when he's with his mistress and she's like, "Are you thinking about your wife? Can I just do this? God damn it! Now I am thinking about my wife." One of the other good ones where he's like, "Hey doc, last night I had this dream and I was feeding a baby a bottle. I go to the fridge and the bottle's black. What does that mean? I don't know. What does that mean to you? What am I paying you for? To say the same stuff back at me? I can get Jolie to do that for free. Jolie, come here." He's doubled down on his kind of, Goodfellas, Jimmy Conway-esque gangster mannerisms.
Yeah.
And he's done a little comedy spin on this. Don't get me wrong. He's still gangster in this. That scene where Billy says to him, like, when I'm feeling angry, I just hit the pillow. Hit the pillow. Bang, 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 bang. Feel better? Actually, yeah, I do. He's got that gear where you can still see he's unhinged, but he's also kind of funny.
Yeah.
For some reason, it works. Oh, yeah. Love it. Absolutely love Analyze This. Superb film.
An underrated comedy. I think Analyze That killed the pleasures of Analyze This. It's so unfortunate.
Analyze That was terrible.
Yeah.
Mine is the outtakes of Analyze That, which are superb. That you remember what bro, watch them on YouTube. The outtakes are so freaking funny. I'm like, why wasn't that in the movie?
In the film.
But no, that scene in Analyze That where Billy Crystal's called into the ward and De Niro's all catatonic. In the movie, it's De Niro being straight faced and just going woo 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 in front of De Niro's face. Right. The outtakes is De Niro cracking each time he does that, and bro, it's infectious. It's him going. Just not being able to keep a straight face. And you can tell each time they're retaking, Crystal's messing with him that much more. It's genius. It's genius. But yeah, that was, to say the outtakes are the best part of a comedy, not a good thing.
That's sad. That is sad.
It is sad. So that was your 10, 9, 8. Right, my 10. I'm a big Kevin Smith guy, and there's a lot of Kevin Smith movies to choose from. And even in this year, there was there was one or two I could have pulled. But inadvertently, I think his greatest achievement is my number 10, and that's Dogma. I absolutely love this movie. Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Linda Fiorentino, Salma Hayek, Jason Lee, Jason Mewes, Alan Rickman, and Chris Rock. R.I.P. to Alan Rickman. But dude, the story of two angels, Bartleby and Loki, played by Damon and Affleck, who are trying to find their way back into heaven because they've been cast out. And they get everything from a Golgothan poo demon. I can't say the S-bomb, obviously. A Golgothan poo demon. Beelzebub helping them out. Like, you don't need to be down with religion, which I am not, to get the religious references in here. Chris Rock playing the 13th apostle, right? And when they ask him, I only know of 12 apostles. Well, yeah, Jesus had 13 apostles, but you don't know why they didn't bring me in? Because I'm a black man. It's one thing after another. They just kind of constantly keep raising the stakes. And it's got that brilliant quasi dialogue that very few outside of the realm of Kevin Smith, Guy Ritchie, and Tarantino can do really well. Kevin Smith really is a brilliant writer of dialogue, of doing that meta dialogue where you're like, these characters feel real, but they also feel like caricatures. He balances that so well. And the fact that God is played by my girl, Alanis Morissette, I'm like, yes, everything about that is correct. Everything about that is correct. Yeah, just, I love this movie. Start to finish, it is an amazing ride. Angels want to get back into heaven. Here's people who need to stop angels going into heaven because it would defy the word of God. And I say this as an atheist, right? You don't need to be down with religion to adore this movie.
I need to get in. I appreciate Kevin Smith for who he is. I've not seen a lot of Kevin Smith. And I must admit, and this, I know this is sacrilege, I tried Clerks, couldn't get into it. I know I probably need to get
wrong headspace. Do it again. You were in the wrong headspace. There's no way you can like Pulp Fiction and not like Clerks. They're literally like, Clerks is like a scene from Pulp Fiction. It's like if Jules and Vincent went to a corner shop. That's literally Clerks. The dialogue is so brilliant and quick-witted and quick-fire. As someone who likes Tarantino, rewatch Clerks. There's no way you can't get into it.
Cool.
Not all of his stuff is great, but even the stuff that's not great is still funny. Like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is a tremendous piece of garbage, but I adore it.
Cool. I want to give him. I want to give him a shot. I like.
Rats. And you know him and Stan Lee were like bosom
buddies. Listen, I know that. I know the involvement he's had with comic books, his DC involvement. I know his daughter's name. Like I know how deep he is, and that's why I've got nothing but love for Kev. Just
deep, bro. And his movies are good. Chasing Amy is arguably his best written. Dogma is my personal favorite. Yeah, but Mallrats is great. Chasing Amy's great. Clerks 1 and 2 are great. And I know I'm forgetting some absolute bangers from him for my sins. Get into Kevin Smith, bro. He's tops. He's really, really good. 9, I have a feeling we're either going to say punt or it didn't get the UK release based on your list being UK. But my number 9, what a movie that brings us close all the time, is American Pie.
Punt.
Okay. And my number 8 was Analyze This. So you're number 7.
Okay. Funny how the bottom end of my list is kind of comedy. And it's not for anything against them. We'll just see how the way this film lands, really. This one had a UK release and is set in the UK. We are talking about the bumbling Britishman himself, Hugh Grant, and the amazing starlet that is Julia Roberts in Notting Hill.
Great film.
Yeah. It's one of those films that it's just sweet. It is just literally sweet. It's just heartwarming. I remember there was a phase where this film was played chronically on ITV2. I saw it way before that. I think the minute it came out on VHS. Didn't see it in the cinema, but the minute it came on like VHS, yes, guys, we had VHS. That was a film that I've watched many a times, and it's about this unassuming bookkeeper, book store owner who happens to have Hollywood's biggest star walk into his shop. And the chemistry just builds from there. And no matter what, they just seem to be building. And while he's trying to figure out how to live her life, she's trying to show that all the glitz and glam in the world is cute, but it would be nice to just have the simple life. And in that, is he just being used because she wants a simple life? Is he trying to use her to make a quick buck? Bit of distrust, bit of love. And can I also say Rhys Ifans is one of the most underrated stars. Like, the guy was just pure gold in this film. The lines he came out with, the movement and everything. One of the lines that I always, and this is just quoting the trailer. I always go for trailer quotes to not spoil the magic you'll get from a film. Oh God, I've just opened Pandora's box. I went to school with a girl called Pandora. Never saw her box though. And that's him throughout the film. It's just in this weird love story that's going on. When you get so involved in it, you just get this weird bit of quirkiness just jump into, like, when you're getting it earlier, was it here or somewhere else? No, it was in Silver Screen News. Go check that out, guys. You were talking about that thin line between drama and comedy. When you are getting all emotional and into it, boom, in he pops, and there comes the comedy right back, and it's wonderful, amazing writing. Yeah. I love me a bit of Notting Hill.
Not much to add. You paid it nice respect there. The thing I'll add that actually makes me quite sad. Did you know that the bookstore where they filmed this is just been teared down?
No.
Yeah.
Because it was meant to be like a tourist spot.
Yep, they've torn it down on Portobello Road. It's gone. Why in the hell they didn't preserve that?
Yeah.
As a place of
blue black, literally.
Blue black, historical and artistic significance. Why that wasn't given that, beyond me. But it's gone.
And what makes me even more upset with that is I've kind of taken it upon myself to take pictures of certain things that we appreciate. There's another thing I took for granted. I said I'll go there one day, didn't go there. I tried to avoid Portobello Road Market, to be honest. I'm not hustle and bustle. But I did need to take my picture in there and take a walk. Damn you guys. Damn you.
Cheers, Rishi. Don't boo. Vote.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it before we get done for endorsements, but follow the words of Zack Sabre Jr. at Uprising.
Yes.
That's what I can say.
Vote.
Exactly. Yeah. Before we get political incitement, like I've been to Argentina. Anyway, we move on.
Let it go. That one's done. That was a glitch in the Matrix. Spoiler. That's your number 6 then, please.
My number 6. Well, baby, it's time to bring the mojo in.
Yeah, I knew you would do this.
Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. And again, YouTube, that's the title. I know you tried to do us for Kick A. It's the words, all right? It's the name of the film.
Oh, dude, we got done recently for Lobo was demonetized because it had shocking content. I'm like, what?
Where? How? Just behave. Stop it. Anyway, we're not here to bash the platform.
Listen, on that ranking video I'm doing, by the way, stay tuned to that in the coming days where I rank all 56 movies I saw in 2023. Not too long a video, monster edit. The first one is Bear.
Yeah. No.
I didn't say the word. No. I thought about this. I'm not giving YouTube the chance to do me dirty. I didn't say the full title. I said The Marching Powder Bear. And I blurred the name of the title so they can't even do me like that. I'm like, there's no way YouTube are going to demonetize a video which I have spent that long making. I'm like, I am not even leaving this to chance.
The bear with the swinging jaw.
You get me? You grindy teeth bear. Yeah. No. So YouTube demonetization is a real pain in the.
Right. Back to Austin Powers. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is it. Let's. That's not what we're here about. We are on this platform, so we don't hate the platform. We're all about baby.
Yeah, I love YouTube. It's shagadelic.
Exactly that. We're a couple of weeks away from a silver plaque. Anyway. Can't be too far.
100,000.
I thought it was 10,000.
Oh, you'd be so lucky.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we move back on. we get back into the realm of reality, baby. Yeah. The Spy Who Shagged Me. Now, one of the things that Austin Powers is the greatest spoof you could ask for in the world of James Bond. Like it just delivers on all levels. And they up the ante by bringing in the dearly departed Vern Troyer, aka Mini-Me. That character was absolute madness, absolute pure comedy. And you can't help but just love what came into it. It's Austin Powers amped. It just brings in all the madness that you love from the first film, International Man of Mystery, and just gives you so much more. I just remember having so much laughs. And one of the things that Austin Powers holds quite near and dear to me now, having rewatched it with my nephew, like him being a 16-year-old, and I've tried to introduce him to certain films. I remember the Jim Carrey stuff just didn't land. The Austin Powers trilogy, that worked. And yeah, we had great fun with these. So yeah, Austin Powers had to make the cut.
It really is one of the all-time great comedies, from, as you mentioned, Vern Troyer's Mini Me to Fat, what's his face, because I probably can't say his second name, to Felicity Shagwell. Like, the characters are just brilliant. The set pieces are fantastic. I've had bigger chunks of corn in my crowd. Hey, looks kind of small. You like a baby. Come here, I'm going to eat you. I'm bigger than you. I'm higher in the food chain. Get in my belly. So good.
Baby.
I want my baby. Chili, baby. So good. Or that scene where he loses his mojo.
I've lost my mojo.
No, just before that, where they're playing chess and stuff. Do you know how we stay warm in Russia, Mr. Pars? I can guess, baby. We play chess. I guessed wrong.
You know what I've actually forgot as well? The opening when he's coming out of the hotel room, that whole journey where he's Starkers, and they've got all the things to cover him up. Absolute gold.
It's genius. It's absolute genius. And just at the moment where you think they're going to show his knob, the baby comes up. It's brilliant. But it's the little things you couldn't get away with now, like when he's going up to the various, it's like a black man, an Asian, and what's it, walk into a bar. It's literally that come alive. Like the part where he goes up to the two rabbis, and there's Rabbi, and there's like a long, like a brisket steak, and they just cut the end off. It's like you couldn't get away with that now.
No, you can't.
It's just brilliant.
It was like a modern day Carry On type level of humor, wasn't it? It's the sort of cheeky,
easy with that praise, but yeah.
No, but in the same way that they were very creative with the wordplay, they were creative with the visuals in Austin Powers.
Okay, well played. Well played.
I knew what I'm talking about. All right, yeah, it's the way they just played it. Oh my god, I can't remember if it's the right film. That looks like a big, and they just played.
Yeah, that little that montage of how many phallic euphemisms can we fit into the scene? Very good. Very, very good. So that was your number 6, yeah?
Indeed it was, yes.
All right. Oh, my 7. It's a favorite here at the Silver Screen Dudes. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. One of Guy Ritchie's best. Yeah, it's a 1999 movie, bro.
That didn't even come up on any of the lists I saw.
I know.
And it had to be UK. It had to be.
Yeah. It was just a little thing I had in my mind because my godmother, believe it or not, actually enabled some of the budgeting for this movie to be made when Guy Ritchie and Vince Vaughn went broke. They never credited her, so they kind of stayed public enemy number 1. But in her eyes, I still think the movie's fantastic. And yeah, it really is, even after like nearly 30 years. I mean, just over 20, to be fair, I'm exaggerating. But even after all this time, it's still one of his best. It's, does it reach the heights of Snatch? No.
Some say it does it. I don't.
Some say it does, but Snatch is, I think, the more accomplished movie. But Lock, Stock is a stroke of genius. 4 guys coming together to do an unwitting heist, and all the different parties involved, and the poker game that goes wrong, and then being in debt. It's just genius. The characters, again, just like Kevin Smith, we were talking about, larger than life caricatures. Harry the Hatchet, Barry the Baptist, the 2 idiot Scousers. There's that one line, I can't say it because it's full of swear words, but it makes me laugh so much. What's the black gangster called again? The name of the character in the film? Is it Reggie?
Oh, God.
Afro guy. They
I know
even
who you're
joke
talking
about it. He looks like
Harwood.
a cute teddy bear with an afro, but don't mess with him. It's when he calls Nick the Greek into his office. Get Nick
Rory Breaker.
Rory Breaker, thank you. Get Nick the Bubble in here. The fat, dirty, greasy shiatsu wearing, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes in and he's like, I don't find this funny, Nick. Is this some white joke that black just don't get? Huh? Don't me, Greek boy. Where's my money? Don't me, Greek boy. I don't know why. It's like one of those Scourge lines from Thor Ragnarok. Behold my stuff. I don't know what it is. The delivery of that line floors me. Don't me, Greek boy. It's like, what? Yes, I'm here for that. Oh, dude, I adore this film. And the weed scene. Oh, it's so good. It's that.
So much love.
He's
So much
shooting
love.
me. Who's shooting you, Plank? No one's here. Ah, he shot me again. I don't bloody believe this. Could everyone stop getting shot, please? I can literally play that movie out in my head. It's so funny. And of course, a career first for Vinnie Jones and Jason Statham, right?
Yes.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
And Sting like you've never seen him before. Like, I actually rate Sting in this. The singer.
Sting is surprisingly threatening in this film. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. That was my number 7. My number 6 is definitely not a punt, although both Den and I are saying you need to get past this now and get on board with this. The movie, AJ, is bigger, longer, and uncut. I'm talking South Park, baby.
So here's the thing. Would I be opposed to watching it now? Probably not. I mean, bear in mind,
It's needed now.
The last meetup, I was watching the Pandaverse. Like, I didn't hate it. I had no qualm with it. You've got more chance of catching me on a South Park tip than you ever will on a Jackass tip. Like, I can see myself getting into South Park. I'm not going to get down the other lane. So,
the poor Jackass guys. Dude, especially now where so many people have lost their ability to just laugh at something because it's taboo, or the ability to not take themselves too seriously, or the ability to laugh at something because they know they shouldn't. Taboo, I guess. And everyone's become so stiff and snowflake and you can't say that. Now more than ever, South Park is needed in the world to keep the scales balanced. Because in some cases, it says outlandish things. And some people, it's just saying what we're all thinking. No, it's not. If y'all are thinking what South Park are thinking, you're twisted. Like, just saying that flat out. There are some things it says where it's like, yeah, kind of, yeah. But there's a lot of the things it says where it's giving an extreme opinion of something that you do probably feel, but it's extremed. And what they did, how'd you make a movie out of a basic, at the time, basic animation cartoon show, which made notoriety from being 20-minute runtime? How do you turn that into an hour and a half? Well, it's very easy. You bring in a story about censorship, about the suppression of freedom of speech, throw Saddam Hussein and the devil having a gay love relationship in it and coming back to conquer Earth. Kenny going down to hell to try and stop them. Cartman being zapped with a brain chip so he can't swear anymore. And all this because of a comedy movie, getting meta here, a comedy movie called Terrence and Philip Asses of Fire, which was censored just the same way that they tried to censor South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. It knew what it was going to happen before it even released, and it became ultimate narrative meta. And the fact that this movie got tried to be banned in so many countries, it's like, watch us. Because if you do that, you are literally proving what this movie to be saying. So they kind of worked themselves into a position where they couldn't be censored. Like, you couldn't censor this movie because then you were playing into their hands. The genius of thinking of that, like, if we write enough swear words in here, we're going to get canned, right? Oh, yeah. But what if we make the movie about the canning of swear words and the freedom of speech suppression? Oh, that's good. Do that. Then they can't mess with us. It's genius.
Fair play. I wish I could add, but I've not seen it. So
you're number 5.
My number 5. This is a film I've not seen in a while, but I've always had a lot of love for. I think it came. I recall bringing it up in early Silver Screen Dudes. Mel Gibson, Payback.
Still not seen it.
Still not seen it. Which is fine. It's a film that I've always just fell in love with. So he's a guy on the wrong side of the tracks, and him, his wife, and his partner. I can't remember if there's I think it's just the two of them. There might have been someone else, but essentially they've performed a successful bank robbery, and they leave him for dead. They turn back on him and leave him for dead, and he's out for payback. And all he wants is his share. Like, let's say it's like 50 mil or something. Let's go for the traditional Dr. Evil, $1 million. Let's say they've got that. I can't remember what it is, but they've done that, and they're like, "I'll give you the mil." He's like, "I just want my third. I don't care about the rest." And that's his whole like premise behind it. But he goes on this mad tangent. It's the madness you expect from Mel Gibson. You know, that comedic madness that he brings when he does his stuff. It kind of like Lethal Weapon, where he goes into these extreme levels of violence and stuff like that. But I've always just, like, from the minute I saw the film, I've loved the film. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm a bit sketchy on it. But I just remember he's just a guy who's out for him. But he's not John Wick level of mad and bad. Do you know what I mean? But you know that now he's back, you're in trouble. And he's on a rampage to do his bit. It's not Man on Fire. It's not John Wick. It's toned down from those two. And it's more comedic, but it's a great time. And Lucy Liu's in it as well. I can't remember who's. I think Rene Russo plays his wife. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say it's her.
That sounds right, just from my memory of the trailer.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking, was that in Ransom? And I was like, oh, maybe not. Yeah, but either way, it was all kinds of awesome. I always just remember having a great laugh with it, just being like, yeah, this is a good film. So I had to show some love to it for 1999.
All right, and that was your number.
That was
your
my
five,
number
yeah?
5. Yeah,
All
one
right.
apiece.
My number 5. You mentioned off air before that you had to leave it off because of continental differences. My number 5, arguably the perfect sequel, Toy Story 2. Has to be.
Yes. That was painful for me because I was going down the route of some films and saw it, and then this one came. So then I thought, if it doesn't apply to this film, I have to fact check all my films, and I realized it was a 2000 release for us. I was like, damn, because right now I'd be saying punt otherwise. But yes, your film, your speech.
I very, very much love how opposing this is to the first movie. When you think about the scope of Toy Story 1, which is, a character with having an identity crisis, right? They kind of flip the role onto Woody and give him the exact same problem. Like in the first movie, Buzz doesn't know he's a toy, right? In this one, Woody doesn't know that he's a famous toy. So we're still very much playing with this crisis of confidence, this having this identity crisis, a bit of imposter syndrome. And it leaves Woody in a place where he's like, well, do I leave the people that I love or this new family that I found who actually need me? And based on the acts of the first movie, there's a debate to be made that his previous family didn't need him, Andy included, because they found Buzz, right? That's an undertone going on through this movie. So does he forsake that and go for this new family who openly need him, right? Especially when he's told that traumatic story about Jesse being abandoned. Really makes him reevaluate. Well, the same could happen to me. It's a superb character study. To say this is done in an animation still baffles me, but it's a character study into identity crisis, and it's a deep dive into themes of family. It's a masterpiece. I don't think there's any other way of saying it. Like, it is a masterpiece. And
I disagree.
Catch me on any different day, dude. On the right day, I would make an argument for this being the best Toy Story movie.
As has always been the argument, one thing's for sure: it will never be number
pretty
4.
Perfect.
That's the only argument. Is 4 will never be down as the best, but
Yeah,
the others are very, yeah. The others. Funny though, I'm very hopeful for 5. It's weird. Well, it was like they should have stopped at 3. 5 gives me a bit of hope. I don't know why.
Should have stopped at 3.
Should have. I still maintain that, but there's something about 5 that just says, I think they're going to right the ship, but that's not what we're here for today. Toy Story 2,
right? They're still never going to be able to achieve the heights of that ending.
No, how can you?
Not doable.
I don't know. If the emotional heartstrings that are rumored to be there are the case, it could be quite emotional.
Yeah, but the emotional heartstrings in Toy Story 3 were based on the people who watch part 3, having grown up from part 1 and 2, just the way that Andy did. It was directly targeted at our age demographic, which is why I've said repeatedly, like, for my daughter, I'll show her part 1 and part 2, then wait till she's 18 and break her heart. Like,
it's
say,
the
look
only
at
way.
this.
It's the only way. It is legit the only way to do it. I have high hopes, but no, not much more to add. 2 is just wonderful. And again, in a world where sequels can be a bit doubtful, this was a good one. This one you have no doubt on.
It's up there with Empire Strikes Back. I know it's crazy to say that, but it's up there with Empire Strikes Back as kind of a perfect sequel. It really, really is. Your number 4.
My number 4, a film I kept hearing about and didn't expect to like it. And yeah, it done amazing things. I am talking about The Mummy.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. I remember hearing about it, and I'm not gonna lie. You talk to me about monster movies. I'm not talking Godzilla and Kong. I'm talking the other form of monsters. It's very hard to sell me on anything that's not vampire. I think I'll do vampire, werewolf, and then the rest I feel are a bit out there. You know how I feel about zombies, even though there are some very good ones out there. The Mummy, especially with the way mummies were previously portrayed, it was literally the person wrapped up in bandages, and I was like, oh God, what are we gonna do? And Brendan Fraser, for all the love I have for the guy, was very much just a comedic actor. You know, he was California Man and stuff like that. George of the Jungle. These are the films.
In the past, George of the Jungle. He wasn't that guy.
Yeah, he just was not that guy. Like, don't get me wrong, he had the rocking hot bud, but that was it. There was not much more. It was all he was the definition of brawns and no brains. You know, that is very much who he was. Then comes along this film, and you're like, The Mummy. And it was, the Mummy's amazing. The Mummy's amazing. I was like, whatever. I just didn't want to buy into it. God's honest truth. I was like, I'll catch it when I catch it. Wow, what a film. What a film. It spun every expectation I had of anything to do with mummies. You know, I was literally expecting to see someone wrapped in bandages or toilet paper walking like a zombie. Hell no. Nothing like that. It had the portrayal of that and En Sabanur, the whole story. I was like, this is amazing.
Wrong. En Sabanur is En Sabanur is Apocalypse, bro.
What was her name?
Anaxunamun.
That's the one. Thank you. Thank you very much. But like, it was just, I was like, this is awesome. It was a good sequel. Third film I was not so much into, but they were able to do it.
Rubbish. It was a law of diminishing returns, this franchise.
Yeah. A bit like Pirates of the Caribbean. But the first film, again, unexpected success, and that's what breeds a generation of stuff. And you know what? Had this not been out, people may have, this is possible sin to say, might have given Tom Cruise a second chance, but I think we all went in with high expectation because it was like the remake. Oh my God, they're remaking The Mummy. What Brendan Fraser done? And they just couldn't meet that expectation.
Which is ironic because The Mummy is a remake.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. But the original mummies were like the throwaway stuff that I previously mentioned. Then they do this mummy, which is amazing. Then people are expecting that again. Couldn't hit that target. And to say that Brendan Fraser outdone Tom Cruise says a lot. But it was what happened.
Crazy, isn't it?
Mad, crazy. Absolutely mad, but real.
Do you know what they balanced so well? They managed to get a kind of it was, I would say, a swashbuckling adventure, but also scary in parts. Like, I remember, like, bro, as an adult, you know, it's not going to bother me the way that James Wan's Conjuring universe does. It's not going to register. It's not going to martyr me. But I tell you what was this? 99. So I would have been 12. It put some chills in me, dude. Like,
it creates the tension where it needed to. And this is what I respect about it. Yes, it has its comedic moments. It has its swashbuckling moments. And it has its chills. You knew the mummy was not to be messed with. You could feel the tension. Mm-hmm. You could feel the tension in the room. And I respect
also,
the hell out of it.
Carnivorous beetles? That's not fair.
No, it's not.
That's just nature cheating. Because you know they're real, those things, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Like, that's cheating. Like, that's not allowed. It's like, what next? Carnivorous fungus. It's like, no. Now you're really cheating.
Someone said a Venus flytrap, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's a punt. This isn't it. Might be your number one. Just say the words punt. Fine.
Punt?
My number 4 is The Matrix.
Punt. Yeah, we're punting. Hold on. You're number 4. Yeah. It's a punt.
Yep. So you're number 3? The Matrix.
My number 3 was the other punt from earlier. You always remember your first one. American Pie.
Yeah.
American Pie. Listen, the same way we talk about Toy Story being a defining moment, American Pie was very much that as well. Toy Story was our childhood. American Pie was our teens. We were just a bit younger than the guys, but we went through the same beats as the guys. And by the time you watched it, you were either waiting to get there or living it. That's just the way it was, you know. We're just a bit behind, like, for better or worse. You're married now, like it's there, but you just know.
I could watch American Reunion now and be able to relate to it a lot.
Yeah, but this is what it was, and this is the first journey. You're just talking about a bunch of high school guys, and I remember going to this film with Yash. We got screwed the first time because my sister wasn't allowed to go and something like that. We ended up watching another film, Bowfinger, which I wonder if that would naturally would have qualified. But but actually getting a chance to go back and watch this film and how we were able to affiliate each character to someone at school. I can't remember who was who and stuff like that, but it was there. For all intents and what I always do.
You made me Finch for some reason, which in hindsight...
No, you weren't. This is what I was about to say. You weren't. Shad, believe it or not, was Finch. Because I think they were both studying Latin and shit. It was just weird. For as tight as we were, that's who we made Finch. He had the smoking hot sister, not mum. Anyway, I shouldn't have said that on camera. But coincidentally, her name was Nadia.
Does that make me Stifler, considering some of them other jokes that were going around?
Well, yeah. I mean, own it. Own it. Anyway, but it was that, and it's that first journey. And no, while we can relate to all of it, not any of us have ever taken it to do anything to an apple pie. That's just the way us Brits are with our stiff upper chins, upper lips and whatnot. But it's just a journey that you have to relate to.
And we make the Americans look British. I don't want to say this. The Americans are not exactly what you would call sexually liberated as a nation.
True.
The Americans make the Brits look like the French.
Yeah, I'll give you that as well.
Like, I've never been to a country where you think we're stiff upper lipped and all that. Blah. Trust me, bro. That's one thing the Americans took from us pre-revolution. That's 300 years of stiff upper lipness and deep-rooted church going, combining to make a wonderful melly-miller of prudeness. Trust me. When we unload, we don't unload guns. That's why they're so gun crazy. Those men aren't doing the dirty deed. You know what I mean? It's like we need to empty our load. It's like, not that load, you dummies. It's a British colloquialism.
Back to American Pie. None of us have ever.
I thought I was quite on point there, to be honest.
Listen, I laugh because they say you laugh because it's true. But yeah, we've never done anything to any bakery items. Well, not the people I've messed with anyway. I know there's a game of Soggy Biscuit. I've never known anyone to play it.
I don't.
Right, but
God, that's a throwback. Jesus.
Anyway, biscuits. But apart from that kind of madness and some of the outlandishness that just doesn't happen, it's a journey that is part of your lifestyle. It's a journey of boyhood, brotherhood, you know. And I can't just dismiss American Pie as like just any old comedy, because it's a journey. It's a journey that you follow.
It's our generation's Porky's. Yeah. 4 guys, we're all virgins, can't get laid, and they make a pact to get laid by or on prom.
Yeah.
All right. ensue weird and wonderful penis comedy. The penis got them, AJ. There you go. 2024.
There you go. There you go. But absolute gold. Love it.
It is very good. Right, so that was your 3. My 3. Man, I can't believe how good a year 1999 was. Like, my top 3 are just like all-timers. It's insane. But yeah, number 3. Ooh, Fight Club. What an all-time bangarang of a film.
Do you know, this was the one I was tempted to, but I felt it felt like a disservice to put it low, and the other films were where they were, and it was non-negotiable for them to be high, and I was like, I'll have to leave it. It is actually a 99 UK. That's the sad bit. But
oh, sweet. Oh, you should have put it on then, bro.
Yeah, I should have. I just didn't know where.
Nah, Fight Club's an all-timer. That needs to be on there. Has to be on there. You want to talk twists? Like, the way I felt about this twist is how I imagine I might have felt with your Sixth Sense entry.
Do you know the sad thing? I got done with this as well. That's what people done me dirty on this as well.
Did you get done with The Usual Suspects?
I think you had thought I'd seen it by the time you'd done a review.
So, Sixth Sense, Fight Club, Empire Strikes Back, and Usual Suspects, bro. I just think at this point you need to call a career on doing anything with spoilers. It's just movies with big twists, not for AJ. Stick to biopics.
In a way,
There's no twist. There's no twist there.
Yeah, I've lost it.
Damn,
I've lost it on so many. It's painful. The big ones.
Those, yeah, like, yeah.
My biggest plot twist and shock is Infinity War. That's it. All the others, I'm like, I knew that was coming.
Oh, bro, Jesus Christ. Yeah, man. This is one of the, I didn't see this coming at all. I didn't see this in 99. I saw this quite a few years after. I think probably around 2002 or 2003. But listen, I wouldn't have been able to see this in 99 anyway. This was 15 or an 18. But yeah, saw this when I was a bit older. And obviously, I didn't have the analytical movie mind that you and me have now because we've seen so many freaking movies, right? So it was still very fresh for me then. What I was very much at the beginning of I need to watch movies journey then. And this twist knocked me for 2, mate. It was like, sorry, he's just picked up the phone to Marla. Wait, what did you call me? What are you playing? Games? Tyler Durden. What? What?
Think it was Einhorn.
Finkel, and Einhorn. There's a twist. You got one.
I think
you're going to tell me that one's ruined too now. Yash told me.
No, that was a fresh one.
Yeah, man. Like, it's mad, isn't it? Because in a way, the movie is completely nonsensical. Like, when you break it down, it doesn't make much sense at all. So he starts an underground fight club, and that somehow turns into an anarchy group, which he's got no control over, and yet has total control over, and he's recruiting from his fight club for. And he's having this on again, off again fling with this head case called Marla. And somehow it all just comes together at the end. But break it down. The narrative doesn't make sense in this movie, but you kind of don't care. Because it's amazing.
But look, Fight Club in itself, the actual essence of it is the throwaway line from Liar Liar. I'm kicking my to your mind. Like, literally. That's what started the whole thing. You're watching a man legit punch himself up. And you're like, I'm going to follow him. What does that say?
You see that in the street. You change side of the road. You know what I mean? Like, you go in the opposite direction. You don't be like, let me touch you and follow you.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. But yeah, it does. Yeah.
And yeah, it does. Brad Pitt, sensational in this. Edward Norton, amazing. Freaking Meatloaf was good in this, man. Like, who knew?
All right.
Yeah. An incredible film. Incredible film. Your number 2.
My number 2 is The Other Punt
Yeah.
from earlier, The Matrix. Like, very, very nearly my number 1 till I saw my number 1 was released in 1999 in the UK and probably in the States as well. But The Matrix is the biggest revolutionary film that went nowhere, if you would, which is sad. Like, bullet time became a thing. It swept the nation, and then it vanished.
And then Scary Movie did it, and it became not cool.
Yeah, and then The Matrix done it again to make it not cool, because everything from 2 onwards, again, law of diminishing returns. Every time they done it, they got so bad they even brought out crap Candyman. It's just the way it goes. That's twice, yeah, in 2024 I called you out. But
yeah, you're dead.
I hope I have high expectations for the guy. He's just not delivering right now. But yeah, it was just not something we expected. Look, I could go over the story time and time again, how much it meant to my dad. So much so that normally with never TV before school, he brought it in and showed us the lobby scene and was like, yeah, we're going to watch the rest of this film when we come back, knowing what this is all about. You know, it just looked like some mad steampunk movie. You're seeing all these people in like the ultimate S&M costumes, all this black leather. It looked like a wannabe Blade. You're like, okay, who's this? What are they trying to do?
Completely.
And it was just, Keanu has a lot to be thankful for in this film. Dare I say, so does Lawrence Fishburne. Keanu more than anything, because I think we had speed. We didn't have much else.
We had Point Break, which I maintain is terrible.
But this is what I'm going to say. Like, I've still not done the Point Break thing. I know there are people out there like, yeah, Point Break, man. But like everyone else, like I've heard both sides of it. But that was it. Where was Keanu? I mean, Point Break was just after Speed. Let's call it 96 for arguments. Where was he for 3
Bill and Ted.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Excellent. Like, that was it. He was.
Wasn't that Wayne's World?
Excellent was Wayne's World, but the air guitar was that. I'm sure they said excellent as well.
Okay.
I can't remember what they said actually. But he definitely had excellent. Yeah. But the air guitar is definitely a Bill and Ted thing. That, and you'd hear the guitar each time they air guitared. But yeah, there was nothing for him. And this film came along. And again, he was gun-toting in Speed. I've not seen Point Break to say what he can do.
No.
I know Kung Fu. By the time he said, I know Kung Fu in The Matrix, and it became something else, you know, it just, that was it. We were like, Keanu can do bits. This is something. And then you're like, he's done his own stunts. You watch the making of The Matrix was everything. The Matrix was everything from 99 to 2000.
Yeah.
And for that, it nearly was my, you know, we saw.
You wouldn't mess with Keanu, would you? That's all the training that guy's been through. Jesus Christ.
And this is the thing, at first, everyone was like, oh, he's doing these bits. And you see the making of the film, and you're like, he actually knows this stuff. He does this. Yeah. By the time John Wick's come about, everyone's like, yeah, greatest action movie star of all time. That was not a bit of conversation when Speed was released.
No.
Yeah, we laugh about it because, yes, it still should be Arnie. But it's because the guy's a legit piece of some work. Yeah. And The Matrix has a lot for him to be fact. I don't even think he would be John Wick had it not been for The Matrix.
I would completely agree with that, but I think John Wick has vastly overtaken The Matrix.
It has, and rightfully so. Because where John Wick gets better and better, The Matrix has done the reverse.
Yeah.
You know, for that. But this mad movie that I feel should still be seen, but I don't know if it will ever hit it. It's like a Terminator 2. Matrix should have been Terminator 3, and then we would have had a perfect world. But it never became that. That's all it was, because that should have been it. 1, 2, 3, and done. But, you know, in the same kind of vein for a different angle.
Listen, dude. It's going to be one, not to be too indulgent, but The Matrix is always going to be now spoken about because it's been damaged so bad as a franchise. I don't think it's ever going to be hailed as a great franchise or a great IP anymore. Too much damage has been done. However, there will always be corners of the internet and at schools which will talk exclusively about the first one. And I don't think it'll talk about it in the sense that it changed cinema, because now actually when you look back, it kind of didn't. It didn't. You were talking about the bullet time thing before. It was a huge cultural phenomenon, huge, but it didn't, as you said, lead anywhere. You know, it's not like Jurassic Park, which did change cinema, or Avatar, which did change cinema, you know, where they brought in new tech and new ideas and new technology, which are now being used everywhere. Lord of the Rings, which changed cinema. Matrix made a lot of noise in cinema. I don't think you can say the Matrix changed cinema because you know, bullet time, it came up with a very unique effect. What did it do after that? Bullet time didn't popularize. Yeah, it popularized pop culture, but it didn't popularize the medium of film.
Cinema. Yeah,
it didn't. So
no, you're right.
But I think it's one that needs to be looked back and explored through a lens of study, not through necessarily a lens of entertainment, because realistically, the franchise is like 1 in 4 is a good movie. There are scenes in the second one which are good, but not the whole movie.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, so that was your number 2, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm very happy with my number 2 because I can now talk about this man again, American Beauty.
Can I be honest?
Tell me.
This was on the list. I don't care how I feel about the guy. This is a good film.
A good film. Modern day masterpiece. That's twice in one episode I've dropped the M word, but I stand by it. This is something that, again, didn't change cinema, but is going to be studied so repeatedly because you can see the influences of the likes of David Lynch, you know, with things like Blue Velvet, depicting the white picket fence Americana perfect suburban town and the way that it's got a dark underbelly to it. You can see the Blue Velvet influences permeating this movie. But what it does that's so powerful is that it creates an intergenerational drama that has got so much to say about society. It's got so much to say about people and character interactions. And it's ultimately just an infinitely relatable topic because we've all got messed up families. That's literally what family is, right? It's being messed up and putting up with each other's BS. And they're just shining a light here on a particular family who are very messed up. A father who's lost his confidence, who's fallen out of touch with who he used to be, who's kind of going through a midlife crisis, a wife who's feeling unsupported and takes that out on her husband with emotional violence, and a daughter who hates who her 2 parents are. Jesus, I hope Leia never thinks that way about me. But, you know, ultimately, we're not cool in our kids' eyes, and there's nothing that can do that makes us cool in our kids' eyes. I'm working on that, but, you know, it's an incredible film.
Yeah, no, I do actually. To be honest, I remember watching it on the plane back from Florida, and it's a one-time watch, but lasting impression. Like it's a very, very, very good film. I can't call it masterpiece just yet without having rewatched it. I'll say that, but it's one of those one watch lasting impression films for me. That I will say. Like Forrest Gump, and I can't remember another film that's like that.
It's crazy that you've only seen Forrest Gump once. That's still
I've
crazy.
seen clips of Forrest Gump all over the place, but
but it's still crazy that you've only sat through it once, beginning to end. That's mad to me.
Yeah, I know. Right, I totally agree.
Okay, so you said you didn't have a worst, right?
I don't have a worst, unfortunately.
My worst, very easy. Wild Wild West.
Do you know what? I was tempted to, but the guilty pleasure in me didn't want to do it.
I know. The moment I put it on, I was like, he's going to mildly defend this. And I get it. Look, being completely honest, when I first saw Wild Wild West, again, 1999, I was a kid. It was Will Smith as he was becoming the cool Will Smith. I thought cowboys were still quite cool back then. They're not. I thought steampunk was cool. It's not. I thought mixing the two of them together was a nice idea. It looked like a fun comedy because I'm a child. I would pretty much laugh at anything that involved a fart noise because I was like 11. But yeah, they tried to do swashbuckling with cowboys, and it was like for an 11 or 12-year-old, yeah, it was successful. But much the same way that, where like when people get cancelled because of tweets they put out 20 years ago, it's like you can't evaluate someone with a modern lens for things they said 20 years ago. Much the same way I can't hate myself for liking a movie I liked when I was a kid, but I can certainly look at that same movie now as an adult and go, oh, this isn't good, is it? Huh?
I could watch it now and be like, oh my days. I could
watch it again. I'd be interested to see how you react. But it's like rough. Like it's really rough. Yeah, that's my worst. Your number one. I'm curious what it is.
My number one, we talked about Fight Club and we talked about Brad Pitt. On the other side, Tyler Durden was played by, well, the one without a name, should I say, because Tyler was Brad. The one without a name was Mr. Edward Norton. And I had to bring him back because this is him and Furlong in American History X.
Oh, you dirty bastard bringing this up. This is a 98 release in America. I couldn't put it in.
Yeah, we got it. Because I think we got it late. I don't think it was a January release. We really can be behind sometimes.
Well, it was October 98 in the States.
Yeah, we got it 26th of March, 99. That's a gap.
So 5 months behind, which at the time back then, that was normal.
Yeah. Now 2 weeks is an argument. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, back then
Bro, look how angry they were when we got Paddington 2 days early.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it is what it is, guys. But yeah, this was a beauty of a film. I could always go back to school days. Remember hearing Loic being the guy like American History X is my favorite film, and I was like, you what? American History X? You've not seen American History X? And getting the tape from him and watching that film and just being. I think it's the first time you start doing. One of the first times you do serious. Obviously, I could go back to like maybe Private Ryan and whatnot, but you still do your action films. You're talking about Blade. You're talking Rush Hour. You're talking American Pie. And then you have a drama like this that comes along into your life, and you're like, "What the hell?" And I always say it. You always talk about a villain being someone you can relate to. I have no reasons to relate to Cameron Crowe by any means. Not any means at all. I am the definition of what this guy's going to hate. However, when he talks about that line and says that some guy...
Not Cameron Crowe, mate. Cameron Crowe's a filmmaker. Cameron Poe.
Cameron Poe. Thank you. I'm all
not Cameron Crowe.
I have no problems with Cameron Crowe. Let's find out what films he's done. But Cameron Poe, I have problem with. And I, again, do not relate to this guy. But what comes after that is a situation where we're talking about a book review and they say, oh, someone could quote Malcolm X or Martin Luther King and there's no problem in that. But you write about Hitler's book and you're now the villain. And again, am I the one to promote Mein Kampf? Never. This household that I'm in right now is probably the absolute biggest nightmare that Hitler could have ever dreamed of. However, I mean, fact is fact, right? But that line still resonated to me that I'm like, point. Right is right, wrong is wrong. It's the same way we'll talk about who can play Bond than who can play Black Panther. If you're going to balance it out, you're going to balance it out. You don't have to agree with the garbage that's in the book, but a person should be entitled to write about it. That's the discussion. I will not be swayed from that view. It is what it is. But it goes deeper than that. It shows how one can be changed. What creates a person to change in the first place? Character arcs. There are so many character arcs in this. It's insane. And the emotions.
I mean, the arc that Derek goes through is mental.
But it's a double arc. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't see that in something from the
a double arc, also known as going full circle.
Well, it's full circle. Yeah. I suppose it is. Yeah. He's the golden. He's McDowell's right now. He's got two arcs, not arches, two arcs. Yeah, but I don't think he can ever go back to who he originally was. But there's a new version of him that is someone likable and what have you. But who he was in between those two places, oof. Yeah.
Put your mouth on the curb.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so disturbing, that scene.
Do you know there's something about that scene? And I don't know about you,
It's the
but
sound
when
of the
he
teeth on the concrete.
but it's that,
Before
I
the
was going
head
to say
gets...
you feel it when he says put your mouth on the concrete on the pavement. I don't know about you. I feel it each time I grit. It's like my teeth feel it. The emotion and pain that comes out with that scene is one of the most touching and groundbreaking films.
It's
But
just
again,
that little thing of, that the ivory from your teeth making contact before the head gets kicked in. Just that little... When you hear him like trembling because he knows he done messed up.
Yeah.
And it's so, unfortunately, it's so believable. It kind of could qualify as a hood movie, that scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it all starts on a
Just,
basketball court. Like, the beef is over literally nothing.
yeah.
What's that Cuba Gooding movie? That Lawrence Fishburne and Cuba Gooding movie y'all told me to watch?
Boys in the Hood.
Boys in the Hood, that's it. I mean, the beef that was started there with the kid getting shot was over the biggest nothing. This is the same level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally same level. Yeah, man, it's a Jesus, let's make it a hat trick. It is a masterpiece.
Yeah, this one you will never hear me argue. For me, I was all over the Matrix. I was like, the minute I knew 99, because I think when we done sci-fi of the 21st century, Matrix just missed it. I was like, this is a guaranteed number one. Out of nowhere in Google searches, I saw the words American History X, and I was like, it can't be anything but number one. It can't be. It just cannot be.
Like, dude, that when we did this is on podcast only, so apologies for our YouTube watchers. But when we did our top 10 movies of all time, I think it was back in season 1 or 2. This was the only movie that was on both of our lists.
Yeah. Says it all.
Yeah.
Okay. I know what your number one is, but take it. It wasn't released in 99 in the UK. Otherwise, it would have been on my list. I just want to let you know that before you say it.
I appreciate you for stroking my ego. Look. Okay, it's 4. This is a masterpiece too, obviously, because it's my favorite movie of all time. The Green Mile. Heartbreaking, gut-wrenching. I know you're going to say the whole thing about the supernatural side of it bothers you a bit. I get it. It's all about how you interpret it. If you interpret it as being literal, it's a bit like, eh. If you interpret it as being allegorical, I think it has more resonance to it. But, man, story of a man imprisoned for what we think is because he's raped and killed 2 little girls. And his dad thought he's a big, large 7-foot giant black man played by the late, great Michael Clark Duncan. Rest in peace again. But the story you hear, as shocking as it is, and then the character you see in front of you, they don't match. What you see in front of you is a gentle giant who's afraid of the dark and who's a bit simple in the head. So you have the whole kind of mice and men thing going on. Is he a bit like of mice and men? Is it one of those, I'm simple and gentle, but because I've got this monster superhuman strength, just like in Of Mice and Men, I've gone and done this horrible act? Because they do find him covered in blood with the 2 girls. And then you find out later that he was actually trying to help them. But, because he's so simple, when they find him, he's like, I tried to take it back, but it was too late. It's like, okay, so that literally sounds like, hey, I hurt these girls and I tried to make it right, but they were already dead. That can easily be interpreted that way. And it just follows his life between being brought into the Green Mile and finally going into the electric chair, and how he affects the people around him on that ward, from the gentle people like Paul Edgecombe, played by Tom Hanks, to Percy, who is one of the most vile prison guard ever put to screen. And then, of course, early appearance from my guy Sam Rockwell, who plays one of the other prison inmates, Steve Villain, Wild Bill, Billy the Kid. Dude, it's just one heartbreak after another, from Edward Delacroix not having the sponge put on him, to Mr. Jingles at the end, to Michael Clark Duncan, giving a performance of a lifetime. It's just incredible stuff. And every time I watch it, it breaks me. Without fail, it completely freaking breaks me. My favorite film of all time.
Yeah. I look, there's not much to add, and I'm not here to just always give the soundbite of the one part of the film that kills me, because I always remember watching The Green Mile, and with the industry that I choose to work in outside of this, hours aren't always your friend. So you can be home at one time and then you've got to leave to go and collect your items at like 1 a.m. and stuff. And I remember the first time watching The Green Mile, I'm watching it and I had to leave for a collection. And it's not like it's the days now you just pick up your phone and continue watching it on screen, like Film 4 on demand and all that. It didn't exist.
Yeah.
And being livid, like, no, I can't leave now. Like, it was so heartbreaking. I was so taken into it. And again, you want to talk about the heartbreaks? This was another film that people told me what happens at the end and the whole sponge. Like, I've been done dirty by people. Like, people just don't know how to keep their mouth quiet around me. Yeah, as much as I knew it, this wasn't one where I'm waiting for it. I was taken in by the story. Yeah. And that's when you know you're onto a winner. Where The Green Mile, you're like, okay, let's get to it. You're just taken in by it. You see the evil prison guards. You see the friendships that's happening between these inmates. You understand why the film is called The Green Mile and all of that. And you're just like, what is going on, And yeah, it is a great film. Absolute, all-time classic.
So voila, Green Mile.
Here we are. So now it's Rushmore time. Okay. Are we doing this from a UK standpoint or a US standpoint?
Well, this is it. It gets messy, doesn't it? I guess the only reason I would say to leave American History X off, not that it should be off on the basis of the list if we were doing UK releases, but I guess to avoid confusion, because there are legitimately more of the top hitters that would be released in the US than there would be in the UK. No?
Yeah, I could go with that. And look,
you've got an opportunity in 2 weeks to put it on again.
Come again? There's
an opportunity in 2 weeks for it to go on again.
Yeah. So if we're going to do it, let's do it in a true box office way and avoid people being like, but I'm sure that was because we could be fact checked and it could be 98. So yeah, in another angle. So I'm down with that. Okay.
What would you like to go on then?
I can see American Pie, The Matrix, and Analyze This have all been punted.
They have, haven't they?
They have indeed. Was there anything else?
We can leave The Green Mile off just because we've put it on a lot of polls before and it's actually been quite successful.
There's a part of me that says, I'll leave it to you to pick. I would be between your 2 and 3.
For sure. But equally, ignoring the punting, it's shit what I'm about to suggest because it doesn't actually include anything from your list then, but I was just looking at that. Green Mile, American Beauty, Fight Club, Toy Story 2. On hell of a Rushmore.
But I'm sure Green Mile is a bit like Shawshank in it, aren't they on the not
Matrix does need to go on. It did create crazy waves. The Matrix absolutely has to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Matrix it's a no-brainer. That has to be in there. Didn't change cinema, but it was very revolutionary at the time. I do want
Okay.
American Beauty in there, you know.
I don't have a problem with that. I genuinely do not have a problem with that. American Pie. I don't mean the Safari gets loved twice that way, but
Pick one of them, American Pie or Analyze This.
American Pie.
Oh, really? Okay, shit. Okay.
Listen. The problem we have is, as much as I love Analyze This, I can see the battering that would take place at the same time. I was tempted to see how it fares, but I couldn't sacrifice American Pie for Analyze This. Not in any lifetime even.
I wonder if we go on.
Here's what to throw that you didn't have: The Mummy.
It's funny you mentioned that. I was kind of thinking either The Mummy or Toy Story 2. But I worry.
How often does Toy Story 2 has probably been in great sequels, this, that, and the other. How often do we actually get to throw The Mummy in there?
No, it's true. Screw it. Let's put The Mummy in there for shits and giggles.
You've said that word a few times, which I'm going to have to edit, just so you know.
I apologize. I'll get my mouth in check.
It's all good. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official Movie Mount Rushmore, our first of season 7 of top 10 movies released in 1999 in no particular order is
The Matrix.
Our second entry is
The Mummy.
Our third entry is
American Beauty.
Our final entry into the top 10 movies of 1999, thank you, Frank Torres, is
American Pie. That's quite a hefty list. That is quite a list to deal with, guys. And yeah, you know what you have to do now? You have to head on over to X at Movie MT Rushmore, or more importantly, at Movie Polls for You, where you will get to crown the winner of the best film of 1999. Out of this category, I have a feeling this will be revisited.
I'm struggling to figure out what's going to win and also what's going to come last, because I think last will obviously be a toss-up between American Pie and The Mummy, and win will be The Matrix or American Beauty, but I can't call either one.
I mean, look, The Matrix has probably been brought up a few times, but I'm actually... Matrix and American Pie have been brought up a few times. I'm happy to see American Beauty and The Mummy actually on a Rushmore.
For sure.
Irrelevant of where they place, I'm very happy to see them in a Rushmore because they just don't get the love that they deserve. And this is now put them into it. They are now on that silver screen mountainous plain somewhere, along with all those other mountains out there. And it's finally been acknowledged. So for that, I'm happy.
And that is it from another week of Top 10 Movie Countdowns. Bit of a longer episode than we were planning, but that's fine. We're getting back into the swing of it. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us for the whole. This will be back on podcast now. We are returning to podcast in season 7. I slacked a bit at the end, but you should see that all of the episodes that were not uploaded weekly are actually available now. So enjoy if you're listening on pod, and if you're watching on YouTube, help us get to that 10,000, guys, because we're nearly there. So please do like the video, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Otherwise, we'll see you next week for another top 10, and that will be the top 10 one-on-one fights. My name's Nico Liro.
I'm the 1H Anthony Jordan.
See you next week, guys. Bye for now.
See ya.